today, broad-based, but the sector that's really contributing is autos. That was, of course, one sector that got hit due to demonetization. Commercial vehicles in particular. We have Gopal Mahadevan, CFO of Ashok Leyland, now joining us. Mr. Mahadevan, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Have you seen on-ground situation improve a bit after the initial knee-jerk reaction to demonetization?
Before I respond to your question, let me congratulate you on your 17th birthday. Very warm wishes and hope you go from strength to strength. Well, with respect to the demonetization, I believe that the initial negative effects are slowly waning out. We should expect that things should get better in the next couple of months. So on ground, we are seeing some traction happening, and hopefully in the fourth quarter, we assume that, we are looking forward to a pre-buy that is expected because of the Euro 4 implementation from 1st of April.
Okay, that's very good to hear that the initial negative effects are fading away. But November was not the best month for the company. Are we right in understanding that Q3 could be a washout and the uptick could be seen only FY18 onwards?
Well, I think November month was not a great month for the industry, but I think Ashok Leyland was the only manufacturer, the MHCV manufacturer, who actually grew in that month compared to all other players. I think the third quarter cannot be a great quarter given so many moving parts in it, including demonetization and then what we also call as rebadging, in the new year coming in for 2017. But let's wait and watch what fourth quarter has to offer, because we believe that there should be a certain amount of pre-buy that's expected in the fourth quarter because of the Euro 4 rollout from 1st of April. So, internally we are planning for a slightly better fourth quarter.
Okay, but do you still hold on to your double-digit volume growth guidance for FY17, or would you like to scale it down?
I don't think we're going to give any guidance at the moment, because there have been so many things that have happened in the economy of late. I think one should wait and watch how the fourth quarter is. Fourth quarter promises to be a good quarter, as I had mentioned earlier. So if that happens, maybe there could be a marginal growth, but let's wait and watch.
Since you are saying that the situation has improved a bit, has the industry and Ashok Leyland gone for any kind of higher discounting for your products in order to push sales in the slow market? Because that's something that we had seen in the past. So have we seen any discounting this time?
Ashok Leyland as a policy never leads in a discounting game. We don't like to purchase market share. We never have done that, and we possibly will never do it. If you were to look at it, Ashok Leyland is the most profitable commercial vehicle manufacturer in the country. Even in the last quarter, we had a very healthy EBITDA posted. We would continue to focus on profitability and return on capital employed. While we do have to match pricing, but we certainly don't chase pricing. So for us, we don't sell products by discounting. That has never been our philosophy.
Okay, some truckers associations have told us that the long-haul truck operators have come to a standstill. Is that true? And if that is, will CV manufacturers take a hit?
You see, India is one of the larger cash economies in the world, and when all that cash gets sucked out, suddenly you can experiment that you can expect that there will be a certain amount of disturbance short term that occurs, and this is exactly what has happened. It's happened in truckers because a lot of transactions happen through cash, not because it's unaccounted cash, but because it's easier to handle. So wages of drivers, petrol expenses, or lube expenses, any of the other expenses that a trucker incurs is actually done in cash. Now, when the cash gets sucked out and there is no availability of cash in the market, most certainly, the industry does get affected. But I think things are settling down a bit. There's certainly a lot of recovery that we have seen, not only here, but also in other industries. So we'll have to wait and watch. I believe that in the next couple of months, things should slowly pan out.
What is the situation in South India right now, where you have the highest market share? Have we seen any reduction in fleet movement, especially for sectors like metal and mining, for which most of your trucks are used?
Well, we did see some blips, but I think we are expecting some recovery in the fourth quarter, as I had mentioned. I think South India, where we are one of the largest market shareholders, had seen some dips, but then we saw a little bit of recovery in certain sectors in the month of November. I think the fourth quarter should see some improvement as we move forward.
Okay, everyone tells us that economy is pushed by nearly 3 to 6 months due to this demonetization. But do you see the momentum coming to the industry post 6 months, or could there be further delay?
I believe so. I think if it's a 2-quarter issue, I don't know whether it's a 1-quarter issue, 2-quarter issue, it's very, very difficult to predict certain things. But I think the whole country is also waiting for the announcements that the government would make in the budget. A lot of expectations are hinging on the, the budget announcements. If that were to happen and there were some favorable announcements which will trigger the growth in the country, we could actually see a much faster growth kicking in. Having said that, I think the company's growth would also hinge on the industry growth as well as the which again hinges on the general economic growth. So if we see the growth coming back, I think it would augur very well for the commercial vehicle industry because if I may say so in very simple terms, the commercial vehicle industry transports the growth. So if we see the growth coming back, I think it should do very well for the industry as well as for Ashok Leyland, who has been a very leading player in the country.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mahadevan, for joining us. And it's good to see that things have improved compared to what we saw a month ago when demonetization was just announced.